In this third video regarding Expert Accounting or XpertMart's accounting module or functionality, I just want to show you the general ledger journal entries and how the functionality where we automatically generate accounting for XpertMart. It'll be shorter in that sense. We'll go first of all to processes, and under processes we also have some accounting processes. The first one is just create a GL month, a general ledger month. If as you do that, it asks you for a posting date, and from there it extracts the month, and if that month has not been created, it creates it. That's just right now a technicality that has to be done for each month that you're going to process accounting for. While we're there, we can go at, well, we'll come back to that in a minute. So there it would just be create the month. I want to show you under transactions, general ledger, we have journal entries as the possible transaction. Again, it asks you for a posting date, suggesting the last date that you've posted as your posting date. We'll leave that date there. And so this is just a screen where you would manually enter a journal entry for the accounting. Right there, right now, we would not really recommend using this because right now we're using XpertMart just to export to other accounting packages. So it would be preferable that you just go ahead in your normal accounting package and make any manual journal entries that you wish. Having said that, if you make a manual journal ledger entry here, it will get exported over to your accounting package. So again, you can pick the journal type, which we've discussed off the menu here, and it automatically puts the date. We can have a reference field that we could put on it. We could have a description field. There's a section for notes at the bottom. All that just give us more information about this journal entry, why we might be making it. For the account numbers, we have a rather friendly scheme that you put in the first digit of an account number, and it'll give you up the account numbers that begin with that digit. So we can make an account there, and then you have obviously you could add an additional description. This is a description per line, why that line is there. Again, configurable as we've seen where you use that or not, and you can put in a debit amount or a credit amount. And the only thing I guess I could say about this is important is that if you try making a journal entry that's not balanced, like in this case $10 against $9.80, and you try printing it, it's going to say the debit and credit amounts are not equal. So it makes sure that you've balanced out what's called double entry accounting, that your credits and debits match. Once it's done that, then you can actually update, print the general ledger journal entry. I show you that just to show you that there is a document like that in XpertMart. The important thing of these accounting system at this point is the fact that we have under processes, going back to processes. Well, first of all, the general ledger journal entries, that's where we would make one manually, but most important is we can go in and look at the ones that are made, the ones that the system generates. So we go under GL journal entries, and here we can see, for example, as a result of an automatic process, journal entries that have been made. You'll notice up here that this is an adjustment journal. So we say, okay, here's a general ledger journal entry that's been made as a result of an adjustment. That would be your adjustment document number and the amounts on that adjustment. No, for which store, for which company, the date, and so forth. So partly is just, you know, that those are in there. How does XpertMart link to accounting? First of all, it generates based on, as we've seen, the accounting numbers that you give it and assign, and then the transactions that are in XpertMart. It generates general ledger journal entries, is a big part of the accounting link for all the activity that XpertMart does. And then you will notice here that there is a checkbox that says exported. So as we link to another accounting system, and this is actually exported over to the accounting system, it would get a check mark here to say this has already been exported, and in that case it would not export it again to our accounting package. So going back very simply, under processes, we have processes, accounting processes. We've already talked about creating a month, and so then update accounting. Update accounting goes through up to, well, when we do it, I believe it asks for a date of which you post. It uses that date, and it goes through and processes. We can see receipts, invoices, slips, adjustments, whatever there is. and it processes. Let's go in and look. For example, if we go and look at sales invoices, documents, invoices, and we look at the documents, we will see that there is a check mark here saying sent to GL. It's been sent to general ledger. So the automatic update, when we put update accounting in XpertMart, it goes in and looks at the sales invoices, the receiving from vendors receipts, the adjustment documents, the transfer slips. It sees each one of those, and if it has not been exported to GL, it imports it. It takes that document and makes the accounting entries corresponding to that. And I'll just remind you, we saw in the configuration that it could do one general ledger entry per invoice in this case, or per all the invoices of sales in the day, or even for all the invoices of sales for a period. It could be since the last time you ran it, or for the whole month. So, and once it's done that, it says sent to GL. What this sent to GL means, and we'll see that on invoices, on receipts, and on adjustments, and on transfer slips. What that means is that it's already been considered and included in a general ledger journal entry. And again, we could go over in documents and look at those. So again, just to recap, that was under processes, accounting processes, update accounting. Update accounting generates the general ledger entries that are needed in XpertMart and has them sitting there. We could look at them. We could run reports on them. Then, as you can see here, we have a series of processes. One would be export to BusinessWorks. So we have BusinessWorks. We just have the export. You would manually enter your account numbers. In case of QuickBooks, we can import QuickBooks accounts so that you don't have to fill out your chart of accounts in XpertMart, and then you export your accounting to QuickBooks. And in the Zero, I don't know if I pronounced that right or not, Shiro, accounting, we can import those the accounts, or the chart of accounts, I guess you would call it, all the accounts into our accounts catalogs, and then we can export to Zero, the accounting. So really that rounds out the processes for accounting. Let me just mention one thing. If we go back into documents, just to emphasize, I think I mentioned it, but now that we've seen the export process, here is exported. So once these are exported to the accounting system that you're exporting to, they would be marked as exported. So again, we can see which ones are exported or not exported. We have on each one of the documents that get either exported to GL or exported a check mark button, and the check mark button, what it does is actually checks. We can manually check that as exported. Or, and I believe after you do that, you need to click 2 registers to go forward, just because of the process of checking the checkbox. So I check the box and go 2 records forward. But if I go back, then I see that this has been exported. Again, if I say, no, that needs to be re-exported, then I'm going to use this little checkbox, change export mark, take off, erase the exported mark, and then again, if I go forward, I will be at a new record. So that this box right here is going to allow me, if I need to manually set or unset that it's exported or not exported. Ideally, the system will work in an automatic fashion, and that will not have to be done. Obviously, if it says it's exported and I mark it as unexported, that does not unexport it. If the accounting system, the third-party accounting system, already received the general ledger journal entry, obviously unmarking that there is not going to erase that transaction over on the other software package. So please be aware of that. So that pretty much is an overview and an introduction, at least, to the XpertMart accounting functionality and module within XpertMart. I hope this is helpful.